Thematically, Animal Crossing is a simple game. It's about community and making the neighbourhood as good as it can be for everybody. There's fishing and loans and fossils, but it all comes down to improving your environment that you share with other animals. In real life, you don't get to choose your neighbours. It's still a good thing to support your community and try to get along, but it's not always possible or easy. Thankfully, in the idealised universe of Animal Crossing, every animal is more than willing to be your friend. Everyone's able to get along. So why is villager trafficking a thing? After reading an article from Eurogamer on trading Nook Miles tickets in Animal Crossing New Horizons, I was introduced to the idea of Dreamies, animal residents in Animal Crossing that are more desirable than others. Despite how it might seem, residents aren't procedurally generated in Animal Crossing games. There's a list of about 400 that have kept surprisingly static across the series. Over the years, some people have grown to see some of these animals as better than others, and a wider community have started a kind of tier list. While every animal resident is basically the same, they all have a house, they can all do the same basic things, they can all be interacted with in the same way, they all have their own personalities. There's subtypes like exercise-obsessed jocks or fashionistas. There's the animal types themselves that sometimes play a role. My horse neighbour Victoria has decorated her house for a racetrack, and there's different little sayings and nicknames they each have. While many animals are very similar, a few are quite unique and stand out from the crowd. Which animals you get on your island is a combination of luck and choice. The first couple are with you when you first load up the game. After that, you can purchase new plots of land and then visit animals using Nook Miles tickets to find them on smaller islands, or they'll come by your campsite. You can then ask them to move in if you want, and they'll always be happy to. You don't get to choose which animals show up on the islands or the campsite, you just pick out of the ones presented to you. This is already super weird. As a resident of the island yourself, you're not even in charge, but somehow you get the say on who joins the group. None of the other islanders even express a preference, it's entirely down to you. This lets you avoid some personality types that you're not a fan of, or certain types of animals, some of them look horrific, and you could equate that to choosing the area you move into in real life. But there's a darker side to all of this. Not only can you choose who comes to live on your island, but you can choose who leaves. After a while, some animals will get restless and decide to move on. Sometimes this is random, and those animals can be persuaded to stay if you're fond of them. Sometimes they'll leave because you ignored them for too long or they felt unwanted, and this is the mechanic some people have started to abuse in some kind of elitist members-only club that seems to fly against the spirit of community. You can make pitfall seeds and plant traps for animals to fall into, you can shun animals over weeks until they feel forced to leave, and you can give them terrible presents that you know they'll hate like trash and dinosaur poop. I'm guilty of this myself, repeatedly hitting this stupid little blue bird called Derwin on the head with the bug catching net until he tearfully asks if I hate him. Yes I do, Derwin, and I want you to leave. Now this behaviour is unneighbourly and possibly unethical, but it gives you a chance to make a new friend, a new random animal who might fit in better. But of course you might not get the animals you really want to join. You might start looking at some creepy tier list of the best animals to join your village, the Dreamies. Then you might start paying money to manipulate them into coming to live with you. This is where the trafficking happens. Currently Raymond is the most popular animal in Animal Crossing. He's a grey cat and he's very smartly dressed and sophisticated. People are willing to pay millions of bells or even real life money to get him. Remember, this money doesn't go to him. Instead, someone who has him living nearby can make a deal with you. Take payment, then force Raymond out by being horrible to him. While poor Raymond is being neglected, beaten and gaslighted into thinking there's something wrong with him, the buyer makes room on their island by pushing some other poor animal out, then goes and speaks to him while he's vulnerable, right on the edge of moving out. He's convinced he's just had great luck and found somewhere else to go, completely unaware of the transaction that's taken place behind his back. This nightmarish animal trading is leading to people setting up villager farms to make their fortunes. They can swap valuable animals for hundreds of Nook Miles tickets, use those to find more animals and carry on the process, amassing billions of bells, thousands of tickets, or even real life money off the back of trafficking virtual neighbours. The tier list has a top, with Dreamies like Raymond, but it also has a bottom. The community's collectively shunned a huge group of animals, pushing them down to the bottom of the list as animals who are gleefully described as often giveaways. I feel like in the spirit of Animal Crossing we should embrace these garbage tier animals, give them a home, learn their quirks, help them become the best animals they can be. The fact that Chops, clearly my favourite Animal Crossing neighbour, is in this lowest tier is a crime against taste. There's always going to be different ways people play open-ended games like Animal Crossing. There's also always going to be a worrying reflection of real-world society in the way people play these games. I'm not sure what it tells us that people have, within a month, used Animal Crossing to create farms for virtual neighbour Dreamies in order to turn a profit by encouraging people to look down on their local residents as being of a low tier, but I'm sure it's nothing good.